Mario Kart World for the Nintendo Switch 2 has been out for over a month now, and I've been playing the game for a pretty good amount of time now. I kind of want to do a video talking about the game, the good, the bad, and if you guys should consider getting this game, whether you guys want to get a Switch 2 or if you just want to get the game by itself. Is it worth $80, or is it worth even getting the Nintendo Switch 2 with the Mario Kart World digital bundle? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So, leave a like, subscribe to the video. Let's get right into this. It's a video I've actually been wanting to do for a while, and I've kind of been working on for a while, so there's a lot of stuff I do want to talk about. But if you guys don't know, Mario Kart, I've actually been playing Mario Kart games for quite a long time. My main game I actually did originally play was back on the Wii with Mario Kart Wii. I put, I don't know, at least like 5,000-6,000 hours into that game on multiple Wii accounts for Mario Kart Wii Online. That was way back in the day, like 2012 to like 2015, 2016, when they, up till the point where they discontinued the Wi-Fi and cut that out for the Wii system. I played a decent amount of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe as well on the Switch, but that was kind of held back with that because I was on a Switch 1 and my Switch 1 was kind of on its last leg, so I couldn't really switch games out on there, no pun intended, to be able to play whatever game I wanted without it breaking. So I didn't really play that game as much as I really wanted to, if I'm being completely real with you guys, just mainly because I had a Switch 1 with like the last 3 years up until like I got a Switch 2 recently, which if I would have switched the games out on it, it probably would have quit working on me with how bad it was and how bad a shape it was. But with Mario Kart World, I actually got it with the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle. So normally they want $80 for this game, and I actually got it for, with the Switch 2 bundle, I think it's like $50 technically with like a digital download. So it's kind of overall what it really costs for the game. Is it really worth that? We're going to talk about it. But I've had the game for over a month now, and the main things that the game brings back is you actually have the Grand Prix, which returns, which is I think like every game. The single player Grand Prix with all the maps, if you guys want to play through that, that's one way you unlock a lot of the characters. And then I think you unlock mirror mode from either playing the Grand Prix with like a certain amount of, I think like 3 stars for each of those, or like collecting a certain amount of Peach medallions. It's one of those two. That's another way to get that unlocked. And then you have the 2 main online modes, being Racing VS Racing, and then the Knockout mode, which is the new mode for this game. And then you have the battles returning as well as like a single player mode with robots, just playing that with single player or online as well. So the game also kind of lacks characters. I'm gonna be real with you guys. Like the overall going into this game, I expected there to be a bigger roster of characters. What they did with Mario Kart World is instead of I think like a bigger roster of characters, they gave us costumes, which are kind of like different skins and that type of thing for characters. You go around on the map and you pick up Yoshi lunch meals on the map, and each one is a different type of meal, and it corresponds with a different outfit, and that's how you unlock them, whether you're playing online or in just single player versus the robots offline, that type of thing, or in just the free roam with different characters. Yeah, overall, I like the costumes. There's some really cool ones, but the main thing that I don't really like is the disparity in costumes as well. Why do characters like Yoshi, Luigi, Mario, and a bunch of the other ones, why do they have like almost 10 costumes? But stuff like King Boo and like Rosaline and like some of the other characters in the game, why do they only have 5? I really don't know. And there's some that even have less than 5. Some have barely 3, and some of them don't even have any at all, which is really weird. So that's kind of another thing I don't really care for. There's also another thing where you can actually get like a different type of character that requires like an item. I'm not sure exactly what that really is because I don't really care about those characters, but there's also like secret characters that you only unlock if you're transformed by that, like a certain item that has like a really rare chance of even spawning in a match. So if you guys are wanting one of those characters, there's a few of them. There's like the Quack Duckling, and there's a few other ones, like a bunch of other characters that are only able to be unlocked that way. You better not be playing a lot of the game because that's really luck based. At least for me, I don't really care about that type of stuff because a lot of those secret type characters I didn't really care for anyways. So I got a few of them unlocked just by playing the game. There's still a bunch I still need, but I don't really care about them, and I'm never really going to use them anyways. So I don't really care about those. VS Race is the main racing game mode for this game. Pretty much what it is it's a one lap race. Wherever you start at the map, you're pretty much racing to the map you choose, and then you do like one lap around it. It's no longer like a 3 lap race on a track, because you have to drive through the open world, which is another main selling point of the game, which we'll talk about later in the video. But that's kind of a main thing that a lot of people don't really care for. There's also the new mode that is added to the game, being now that every match has 24 players up from 12. They got a new elimination style knockout mode. Pretty much what it is, it's lap based elimination, so you got to be above a certain placement to continue at checkpoints, and you race until the end, until there's I think like top 4 or top 3, and then the number 1, whoever's in first, wins the entire thing. It's pretty much elimination based checkpoint racing. That's kind of what it really is, over the span of like a 5 to 10 minute race. That's kind of what it really is. It's really cool. Like I think with the 24 players that makes sense, but overall the 24 player thing, it seems more like a clusterfuck than anything. I think the only thing that really requires the 24 players is the knockout mode. In VS Race, it just feels like a clusterfuck. Same with battles some of the time, especially on the current maps, which we'll talk about later on in the video as well. There's also a few characters that aren't even in this game. I don't know why there's like a few characters that they didn't carry over. There's a bunch of characters they didn't carry over from Mario Kart 8 as well. Just touching back on the characters again as well. Why is the Mii not in the game? A lot of people like to play their Mii character. Why is that not in the game? At least for me, like I like Diddy Kong and Funky Kong. I don't think those are in the game. There's no Dry Bowser, which I was really disappointed by. Dry Bowser was one of my favorites in the last 2 games. It's not in the game, unfortunately. Really sad about that. Like, there's so many characters, even like the Inklings from the Mario Kart 8, the boy and girl Inklings from Splatoon, those aren't even in the game. Those were some of my favorites to use in Mario Kart 8 as well. There's so many characters that just aren't carried over in this game, which I think is another huge problem. Maybe they're saving for some of that stuff for DLC later down the line. I don't know. I just hope it's free DLC and we don't have to fucking pay for past characters or like new characters in the game. That would be really sad. As for like the carts and the bikes as well, you actually unlock new carts and bikes all the way up until you collect 3,000 coins. So there's actually a decent amount of carts and bikes in the game, and they do look pretty cool. My only main thing with like the different bikes and carts that are in the game is they lack stats and like display stats. There's no mini turbo stat. There's like a hidden mini turbo stat for every single cart in the game and bike in the game, but they don't actually show you what it is. You just have to guess or try to find out online. There's no stats for that in this game, which is really stupid. They got all the other normal stats there, but there's no mini turbo stats, which I think every single bike and cart has a different one in the game. I don't know why that's not there. Again, kind of just a blunder and kind of like half-baked, just shove it out the door and forget about it type shit. Kind of idiotic in my honest opinion. And then we got the main selling point of the game, which is the open world. I'm not going to really talk about this very much because the open world, it looks great, and it was the main selling point to the game. But I'm going to be completely real with you guys. I just don't give a shit about the open world. Maybe you guys do. There's probably people that really like it, but the open world feels completely open. No pun intended, because it lacks stuff. And a lot of the stuff to really do in the open world, which is the challenges, and then there's question mark panels to get like stickers and stuff. All that stuff I just don't care about. And then once you get beyond 3,000 coins and you're done unlocking carts, the coins also don't really matter, and collecting them in the open world also doesn't really matter as much either. So everything that you do in the open world, if you don't really care about like the stickers part of the game and that type of stuff, a lot of it just doesn't matter. It's just a waste of time, and there's just really no reason to explore or do anything apart from maybe collecting different costumes with different characters. Apart from that, once you have all the costumes, then again, you ain't gonna be exploring either. So I'm not gonna talk about the open world very much. Overall, I feel like the open world is just kind of a niche thing that was kind of used to sell the game, and like I don't really care for it at all. At least for me, because I just don't really care about like the challenges or the coin collecting or the exclamation mark panels for all the rewards and all that type of shit. So I don't know. There's also a recent update as well that they actually added to the game that actually, if you choose random, whether it's in, I think it's a VS race, I think it's VS race only, that if you choose random before, it would have a guaranteed chance of giving you a 3-lap race on a track instead of just driving to the track and having a 1 lap around it with the intermissions. Now they actually changed it with a recent update to where it's no longer a guaranteed 3-lap race. They decreased the odds of a full 3-lap race, so you're able to, so there's more chance of getting an intermission before you're able to get to a map and just do 1 lap around it like usual, which is a lot of people were really upset by. I don't really care for it at all. Like, I wasn't really too mad at it because overall, if I'm playing racing, like I've been playing more Knockout than VS Race. I think if you are playing the game, I think Knockout mode is definitely the mode you're really going to want to be playing. I think it's overall the more fun mode and the mode that really sells the game with the 24-player increase. I feel like the VS Racing, even if you're on like a track with 3 laps, it's just a fucking clusterfuck. That's all it really is. I think the 24-player increase is just way too much. The main thing too is like everybody just sits in the back. Like, there's only maybe like 1 or 2 ways to really play the game. Either you sit in the middle of the pack and you try to keep up with like decently like 4th or 5th or 6th around that point in the game, and you just sit there the entire game and you try to slowly move up as every lap passes or the closer you get to the end of the game or end of the race. Or you just sit in the back and the entire time you save all the good items and you just try to move up as fast as you can. It's called bagging, pretty much. You sit in the back and you bag the entire game and you use all the good items towards the end of the race to try to get a good placement and play that way, which everybody's doing. I really don't care for how people are playing the game. That's kind of another reason why I just don't think it's fun if you play it at short term, but like long term playing the game, especially shit like Knockout and even like VS Race, everybody just uses the bagging play style because it's just so beneficial on a lot of these maps, and especially with the intermissions and all that type of shit. If you're somebody that tries to go for first, you're never going to be first at the end of the game. Like there's blue shells and everything still as well, which is always a factor, but just because the items are beneficial to people that just sit in the back and the entire time and just bag until like towards the end of the race, they just use the items to get a good placement anyways. You usually end up losing your good placement if that's where you are the majority of the match anyways, so it doesn't really matter. What incentive is there to stay in first place and try to stay in first the entire race if I know that towards the end of the race, in that last lap or towards the end of before the checkered flag and the finish line, I'm probably gonna have like 10 people try to go in front of me anyways. I've been sitting in the back like top 20 the entire time, and they're gonna try to overtake me like before the game ends anyways. What point is there? And there's nothing I can really do against it. I don't know. That needs to go. I don't know how they change that. If they change that with items, the item chances, I don't know. But the playstyle people use for this game just fucking sucks. It was never that way in Mario Kart 8 either. But that was an entirely different game. We didn't have intermissions and we never had knockout mode. So I don't know if it's really fair to compare the two. That's kind of the main thing. Overall, if I'm being real with you guys, at least if I'm playing Mario Kart, the majority of the thing I care about is the battles anyways. Maybe you guys are going to be more crucial and like critical of the VS races and like the knockout mode, but those are like the least 2 played modes that I play. If I'm playing Mario Kart, and I'm usually Mario Kart games, especially like Mario Kart 8 or even like Mario Kart Wii way back in the day, and now Mario Kart World, the main thing I was really looking forward with this game was the battles. And I'm sad to tell you guys that the battle mode fucking sucks in this game. I was so looking forward to battles in this game and having that being like the main game mode, especially with how decent it was in Mario Kart 8. It wasn't perfect, there was a few flaws with it, but overall it was way better than what we got with Mario Kart World. Kinda sucks. First of all, there's only 2 game modes with battles. This is the main mode that I love playing. I'm more of a battler than a racer, which is kind of the opposite of most people. So you guys are going to get like a POV of somebody that doesn't really race as much and usually spends most of their time battling. There's only 2 modes. In Mario Kart 8 we had a bunch of other modes like Bob on Blast, Shine Thief, we had Cops and Robbers, like a bunch of other like different modes. and there's only 2 modes. Granted, I'm fine with the 2 modes. Like, if they did them well, I'm fine with coin battle. I'm fine with balloon battles being the only ones, because those were the only 2 modes in Mario Kart Wii, and that's where I originated from. I'm used to both of those. Those are the 2 OG modes that I love the most, which is completely fine. But I do wish there was an option to have some of the other modes as well. Just make them optional, or at the very least. Maybe they're waiting to save them for DLC, I don't know. But just having balloon and then coin battles, when in Mario Kart 8 we had so many other really cool battle modes, it's just kind of really lackluster and boring. At least for most people. For me, I don't really mind, because like I said, I like coin and balloon. Those were the 2 original modes in Mario Kart Wii, so I love them both. But for most people, it's kind of boring. There's another real problem with battles too right now. I don't know if you guys play battles very much, but battles is actually lacking a lot of items. It's lacking the gold shell, which I think is one of the newer items that throws out coins. That should be in the coin. That should be in the coin battles at the very least. Or make it so like if somebody gets in the way of somebody on like balloon battles, they lose a balloon from it. I don't know why that's not even in the battle mode. You could argue, oh well, that's only good for races, whatever, but it should still have some use in the battle mode. Why is there no growth mushroom in the battle mode? And then why is there no blue shell in battle mode? The 2 main items that have been in every other battle mode up until now are not in the battle mode. There might even be like 1 or 2 other ones I'm forgetting about, which you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Why is there no blue shell in the battle mode, and why is there no growth mushroom? So I can run people over and squash them and squash the coins out of them, or like take a balloon from them or whatever. And like, why is there no blue shell? If there's somebody with a bunch of coins, the blue shell will go after them, or like whoever's leading in the balloon battles, it'll go after them and kill them. Why is that not even in the battles? You want to know what that really incentivizes, y'all? The main issue with battles right now, since there is no blue shell and growth mushroom, which the growth mushroom is here or there, it's just mainly like another really good item that should be in battles by default. The main one is the blue shell. You guys want to know a huge problem now that we really have? Especially in coin battles, you are incentivized to just go around and gather coins the entire game, and then like the last minute of the game, as long as you're the king of the match and you have the most coins out of everybody, you have the crown, you just sit and you run off the map and you try to stay away from everybody. Since there's no blue shell, you'll never lose your coins unless people go out of their way to try to kill you and try to get rid of your coins. And even if they do, the problem now is coins disappear too fucking quick in coin mode, to where even if people try to shoot you and try to fight over the coins, they just don't last long enough. There is no incentivizing even fighting people for coins, because there's no time to really even gather the coins that you're able to fight for and like hit off of other people in the match. That is the main problem with coin battle right now that I've been seeing, and it makes it feel like fucking shit. I'll admit, like, I abuse it, because I'll have like the most coins in the game, and then I'll just go sit like off the map, and I'll just wait for somebody to try to come after me, and then just keep trying to run away from them the entire game. Or if nobody even goes after you, you usually just have the most coins in the game, and you just pretty much win for free, because there's no blue shell. It's just brain dead. I don't know how they didn't even take that into consideration when they were testing the game, or how that's something that they sent out to the game, into the live actual game, without actually looking over. It just makes no fucking sense. And then for some reason the coins disappear like right away after you get hit. So if you lose any coins, you got about 5 seconds before they disappear. There's just no time to fight over any coins. Some of the main shit, like especially like Mario Kart 8 or even like Mario Kart Wii, way back in the day, the main thing is like trying to have like a huge fight, especially towards the end of the game, in like the last minute and a half of the match, of just trying to fight for the coins. And it'll be like a big old like bunch of coins of like an entire group fighting over coins towards the end of the round. And that no longer happens now, because the coins disappear too fucking quick, and there's just no incentive to actually fight people and try to go after people for their coins. You're better off just running around the map and trying to collect them and trying to out-collect everybody else on the map, and then just sit AFK or hide the entire rest of the match for like the last minute of the game. That's the main problem with battles, and it fucking sucks. Or at least coin battles. Balloon battles has another problem. Balloon battles, if you guys know how it used to work, pretty much how it used to work is you would actually get eliminated and you'd actually respawn. For some reason, for Mario Kart World, they took it away to where now if you lose all of your balloons, you lose your points, and you no longer respawn. You are out for the rest of the match. So if you lose all your balloons with like 2 minutes or like 1 minute of the game remaining, you lose your points, and you no longer respawn, which is really stupid, unlike past games. All that really does is incentivize people just not fight anymore. Towards the last end of the match, people will just run around and they just won't fight. They'll try to be really aggressive in like the first 2 minutes of the game and like the last 30 seconds to 1 minute, especially if you're down to like 1 or 2 balloons left. You're just going to be running around, just especially if you have a decent amount of points. You're better off just taking the points that you have, getting a decent amount of points in your rating, and just not losing. That's the main thing. There's also another problem with the maps too, which really affects the balloon battles mainly, especially once people start getting eliminated. The maps we have for battles are fucking garbage. We have, I think we have like one original map, which I'm not even sure if it's original. I think it's still part of a map. Got Moo Moo Meadows, was it like the Fire Donut or whatever the fuck? All the maps fucking suck. Every single map in the game is a part of a map that is already used for racing. And it's just like a sectioned off map, part of the map for battles, which really sucks. The main issue with this is if you're not in a full room, if there's not 24 people in the entire battle, or if people start getting eliminated, especially with balloon battles, you feel like you're running across the fucking desert looking for people to try to fight. Because the maps are too big, and the maps are way too fucking open. It's too difficult to fight, even in like coin battles and balloon battles. And especially in balloon battles when people start getting eliminated. The maps are just too big and they're way too open. The maps fucking suck for battles for Mario Kart World. Yeah, they really do. I think the two main things that are really holding Mario Kart World back is the maps, and then it's like the shitty balance of it with not having the blue shell and like some of the items. Once those two things change, it would be just so much of a better mode. But like there's just so much shit they need to change with battles. It just really sad. And like I've seen myself not even really want to play battles on here anymore because it's just the same shit over and over. And especially if you don't have like a full room of 24 or even like 20 people, the maps are just so fucking big to where like you're lucky to get maybe 5, 6 balloon kills, or kill 6 people's balloons and then try to win that way. Or even like coin, you just run around, try to collect the entire game. Like there's barely any people to even go after you anyways. And there's no blue shell, so as long as you out-collect everybody, you pretty much win. Or at least do very well. So, I don't know. I just feel like battles are just fucking afterthought in this game. The main thing I wanted from Mario Kart World was battles, and that's the main thing I play. And overall, battles in this game fucking suck ass. They really do. One last thing, too, I want to kind of throw in here is, I don't know about you guys, but if some of you guys are like 7,500, 8,000 rating, for some reason, why is it when we do really well, I think I have like a close to like a 9,000 rating now for battles, and like 77,000 for VS, and like I'm still pretty low on the knockout, the knockout rating still, but at least I'm recording this because I just haven't played that as much still. But at least for the other two modes, like why am I 7,000 or like 8,000 rating and then I get like first, second, or third in the match and I barely get any points? Why do we get so little points for doing well once you hit 7,500 to 8,000 plus rating? I don't know. Unless it caps out at 9999 triple or 4 nines and it doesn't go up until like 100,000 or whatever it was in like Mario Kart 8. But I have not seen that cap being reached yet by anybody, so I don't know. If you guys know that, let me know in the comments down below. Maybe that's what it is. That's why it adds you so little rating, because it caps out at 999 4 nines. So I don't know. Kind of similar to like Mario Kart Wii did. I'm not sure though. But like if you do really bad, it'll minus you like 100. But like if you get like first, second, or third in battles or races, you barely get anything. You'll get like what, 10, 20 points if you're lucky. But if you get below like 10th in anything, you'll minus you like over 100 points. It's really weird. The rating system in this game as well is just really flawed, and it just makes no fucking sense. I just don't know what it caps out at. Maybe it caps out at that. That's why it does that. I'm not sure. But if it goes all the way up to like 99,999 or whatever it was in Mario Kart 8, then that would make no sense. So I have no idea. Overall, if you guys are looking to get this game, I would not pay $80 for it. I think overall $80 for Mario Kart World is a scam. I feel bad for anybody that played $80 for this game. This is like what you call a half-baked experience that was just thrown out alongside the Nintendo Switch 2 to try to get people to sucker them in to try to buy it on day one of the Switch 2's release. And if anything, Mario Kart World is mid. I'm not saying it's a bad game. I've had a lot of fun with the game, but at least for me, my main mode that I like to play is battles, which really suck, and they're really bad. I have had not really much reason to really play the game. I go on and I play a few matches for fun, or if I have a few friends online, I'll go on and play and shoot the shit with some friends online and play with them in some races or some battles. But apart from that, if I don't play really like long term anymore, I don't see myself sitting down for like 2-3 hours at a time anymore and playing Mario Kart like I did back with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or like Mario Kart Wii way back in the day. It's just not that kind of game. It's just mainly a casual game that you go on and play a little bit, maybe like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour a day, have a little bit of fun, or go online with some friends and have fun for a little bit and then be done. It's no longer a game that you go on and you play like multiple hours a day and still have shit to do and reasons to play. I think that's kind of long gone. If you guys are wanting this game, I think it's $50 if you buy the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle with the digital download, which is what I did. I got it for technically $50 with the Nintendo Switch 2 bundle. Overall, even $50 is kind of top dollar for this game. You could argue even like $50 for Mario Kart World is still overpriced. It's better than $80, but it's not really that much better. I think the main thing this game really needs to make it better is DLC. Like, we need new maps, especially battle maps. They either need to rework like all the battle maps and then add a bunch more racing maps or something. I don't know what they need to do, but the game really lacks maps and like good maps, especially for battles. VSS Race is kind of the same thing. They need more maps. Like quality of life improvements, mainly the battle mode, and there's a few other ones like to the VS mode. I'm sure you guys will tell me in the comments. And a bunch of other stuff, even like more characters. Like, bring some of the characters back from Mario Kart Wii, like Funky Kong and a bunch of the other OGs. Bring some back from Mario Kart 8. Bring all those ones back. Like, I'm assuming they're probably saving them for DLC, but I don't know. And if they're gonna charge money for the DLC and we never got it in the default game that we had to pay, some people had to pay $80 or even like $50 for, I'm gonna be really fucking pissed. Because I feel like this game is just not finished. I feel like it's just sent out the door to be paired alongside the Switch 2. And it was just there to kind of incentivize people to buy the Switch 2. And kind of thrown out the door that way. Not really being done and overall just kind of rushed. That's kind of the feeling I've got for the game. And maybe they're going to try to justify the game getting better through DLC down the line. Which they're probably going to try to do. But if we have to sit and pay for DLC, I'm going to be really fucking pissed. If it's free DLC and they're going to add characters and a bunch of other shit for free, that's fine, I don't care. But if they're going to force me to pay another $20 or like $30 for like a handful of characters, maps, and a few other things, like carts or bikes or whatever else they want to fucking add, I'm going to be really pissed. I'm not going to be buying it at all. So, I don't know, it just comes down to what they really want to do with the game as well, because for like a Switch 2 launch game, Mario Kart World is probably the definition of mid. It's a fun game, but man, is it fucking average. That's what I will tell you guys. So if you guys are looking to go out, whether you guys have bought the Switch 2 yet, whether you're going to be buying the bundle with the digital download or the physical edition for $80, whatever it may be, the game is really mid. There you go. I think the overall too, especially with the Switch 2, Mario Kart World being the main new game releasing with the console on the release date was a bad move. Mario Kart World alone, it just can't carry the console by itself. It's a fun game, but it's mid as fuck. Like they need to release like Pokemon Legends ZA or like some other like main series Nintendo game alongside the Switch 2 on release. Why they only had Mario Kart World and like the other main two games they had was like what, Cyberpunk, and there was one or two other games that were getting like remastered for the Switch 2 on release. Why this was the main game that they tried selling the Switch 2 with only, and they never added anything else, is fucking beyond me. But I guess they probably don't care because the Switch 2 is one of the best selling console releases of all time, so they probably don't give a fuck. But at least for me, I wish they would have had the Pokemon Legends ZA on release for the Switch 2 as well, because I would have rather bought that over Mario Kart, if I'm being real. If they had a bundle with that, I would have bought that instantly, and I think it would have sold way better. So I don't know. I don't know why we have to wait until October for Pokemon Legends ZA when the game's probably already done. They're just waiting to release it for the holiday season. Whatever. Let me know what you think of Mario Kart World in the comments down below. If you guys already got the game, are you planning to get the Switch 2 bundle with the digital download, or do you guys have the physical game? What do you guys think of the game? If there's some stuff I forgot to mention or talk about, let me know in the comments down below as well. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I also stream Mario Kart World over here on the channel along with a bunch of other stuff. Overwatch 2 on the Nintendo Switch 2, Apex Legends on the Switch 2, and a bunch of other stuff like Warframe, Rocket League, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2, and a bunch of other stuff. If that interests you guys, subscribe so you guys not miss my future streams or videos. Apart from that, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace out, everybody.